And Are You Okay is a not safe for work podcast, so any young listeners are discouraged from continuing. However, we literally have no way to track that. So do whatever the hell you want and enjoy the show.
That was hilarious, though. Well, maybe not hilarious.
I mean, I thought it was funny. I feel like I'd be the barometer on that joke. If I don't,
I was going to say, I'll let you tell me that it's funny, but I'm not going to outwardly say that it's funny.
If I don't laugh, don't laugh. But I'm always going to laugh.
That's right. I do go to you for all my toxic jokes, and you're pretty supportive about it.
They tickle my fancy. They tickle my fancy for sure. Oh no, I didn't turn off.
I mean, who doesn't like a good fucked up joke from time to time? You know,
I love them. I love them. The more, the merrier. The more, the merrier. I fucked up my bit because I was gonna have like sunglasses and I'm like, oh, excuse me, ma'am, can you get that camera out of my eyes? That blinding light.
Blinding light. Oh man, that thing is reflective.
Put your hands down, miss. Jeez.
Ray, you have news? Do you have news to share with the listeners?
I do.
You have news? What's the news?
Tell us.
Me and Mikey are engaged.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Your boy did it, a Star Wars podcast. Over the weekend, can't think of anyone I'd rather spend my life with than Ray the Ruiner.
Ray the Ruiner. Such a masochist.
Yeah, you know, I have to say, I've always, you know, like kept myself in a pretty good space, and I have Ray here to remind me that things aren't so great. I'm just kidding.
Yep.
She's she like the light blinding from the ring on her finger. She is the light of my life.
I don't know where to look.
And yeah, couldn't be happier. I mean, big news here from the pod.
Gigantic news, ginormous.
Yeah,
that is Purgle-sized news.
It is Purgle-sized news. As a good way to segue into, you know, the name of the podcast. Annie, are you okay?
A Star Wars podcast.
A Star Wars podcast. And let me tell you something.
A Star Wars podcast.
Yeah. I gotta say, it is a Star Wars podcast, and it's feeling pretty good to be called Annie, Are You Okay this week? Because let me tell you, Annie was more than okay. Annie was great this week. And I can't wait to dive in and talk about it. I got a few pieces of business to bring up before we, you know, hyper dive into things. So just wanted to give a, you know, shout out to the Writers and Screen Actors Guild, who are fighting the good fight to get fair wages. You know, we can't watch this stuff without them. They make the content. We got all types of artists, actors, writers, creators who are fighting to make sure that they get paid fair wages, and we are in solidarity with them. But since we're not joining those guilds, we want to talk about the nerd shit with you. Don't hesitate to send us your questions, your Ask Me Annie things. I don't have any this week, but that doesn't matter because we're going to keep going. And, you know, me, Matt, Ray the Ruiner, we all got a very special opportunity yesterday to go see this episode on the big screen. So shout out to the AMC theaters who put that out there. It was an awesome time. I will never forget that experience. The Neshaminy Shafter didn't get us. Also huge.
Didn't get us.
He didn't get us. I give this man a lot of shit, but I want to give Scooter his props for getting us a spot in line. Shout out to Kev for joining us. You know, it was a fun little crew we had last night to watch Ahsoka.
Do you know what your dad said to me as we were leaving the theater?
What?
So he pulls me in close, like, you know, I like dapped him up. He like came in for a hug. He was just
oh God.
He said,
I'm not prepared.
Flesh lightsaber, don't forget it. he said.
I was worried you were going to tell me you said something racist. I was like, God damn it.
They're scared.
But it was like, he pulled me in so close. He was just like, "Flash lightsaber. Let's talk business."
You were like, I'm uncomfortable.
No, look, I told him, I was like, no, that's an amazing idea. Like,
said Jedi in the streets, sit like, in the sheets.
This might be a thing. Feed into your dark side. Like, come on, it writes itself. The puns write themselves.
Well, for all of your not safe for work Star Wars needs, you can find us right here at And Are You Okay?
A Star Wars podcast.
Thank you, Ray.
I feel like my voice.
And I'm going to drop a spoiler warning here. I mean, if you're listening to this, I would hope that you
Star Wars
are going to be covering all of the other canon Star Wars properties, because this episode could not be done without them. Man, was this episode a sum of its parts? Let me tell you. And so, without further ado, I'm going to jump into the quick plot synopsis here. So, let's hyper dive right in. Hera and company searches Cetas for Ahsoka and Sabine, where she discovers a dismayed Huyang in the aftermath of the previous battle. In the world between worlds, Ahsoka questions her old master, whose ghost is there to teach the lost Padawan one final lesson: live or die, as he confronts her in battle. Jason's connection to the Force helps Hera and her companions discover a lead to the whereabouts of the fallen friend. In order to move forward, Ahsoka is forced to confront her uncomfortable past, transporting her vestige into the body of her younger self during the Clone Wars. Ahsoka questions what it means to be a keeper of the peace when what she is being molded into is a soldier. Huyang and Hera discuss why people like her while admiring Ahsoka's resilience, as Jason and Chopper provide another hint towards their lost friends. Anakin firmly states that Ahsoka is a part of a legacy as she struggles to come to terms with Balin's words, "Your legacy is nothing but death and destruction." Ahsoka defeats her former master by embracing her legacy, but shows mercy, throwing her dark side away by choosing to live. Ahsoka leaves the world between worlds after a passing message from Anakin and is saved by Hera's team in the water. Ahsoka awakens reborn, same but different. Ahsoka uses the destroyed star map to find out what happened to Sabine as Hera gets reprimanded by the New Republic, and Ahsoka devises a plan to use the Purgle to transport herself and Huyang down to the pathway to Peridia. Say that 5 times fast. As the rebel forces buy them time. And finally, Ahsoka and Huyang enter the mouth of a Purgle to shepherd them through hyperspace. In their final moments in the galaxy we know and love, Ahsoka promises she will find them before launching into unknown territory.
Yeah.
Wow.
All of that.
What a fucking episode. That is like, that does not even quite do anything justice in this episode.
Snips.
Snips. Damn.
All around. Double on time. Ask her how.
I'm gonna hand it off to you guys for your favorite moments. Matt, why don't you start us off? Tell me what you loved about this episode.
So much pressure. All of it. Every last bit of it. So oddly enough, I think my favorite thing wasn't like a really big thing, but like for like super nerds it might have been. So, you know, I've spoken outwardly and inwardly that like I love the prequel trilogies. Like Revenge of the Sith is probably my favorite Star Wars movie. Just, like, because I have like a lot of emotional connection to that, but also it's like my favorite duel. The Battle of Heroes is my favorite lightsaber fight of all time. I also really like Finn versus Kylo Ren because they were really trying to just like hack at each other. Like there was nothing pretty about that fight. There was nothing pretty about that fight. But I've missed Hayden Christensen's light sword play. And he's a magician with a wand. You know, he's great.
Oh, good.
But my favorite part was I felt like he was putting in like some new moves. I'd seen some moves that I've never seen him do before. Like when he kept like back fisting her, I was like, oh shit, like vicious, bro. So it's just like, I loved how he still did like his, trademark Anakin like flourishes and the unnecessary twirls and stuff like that. But he was just like, had some like crazy like defensive maneuvers that I didn't see him do before, which I thought that was really cool.
Ray, give it to us. What was one of your favorite?
She hated all of it.
Hated it. Oh my god, I sat for a solid 20 minutes with just like my mouth open, my hands like over my face like this. I could not. I mean, I know we were hoping we were seeing live action Clone Wars, but I can't fucking believe we saw live action Clone Wars on a big screen holy shit.
Like a lot of it too.
Like a lot of it. And oh my god, favorite moment? Ugh, I don't even know. I mean, we've been making the joke about like how Hayden Christensen did a good job of playing Matt Lantern, playing Hayden Christensen.
Yeah.
I mean, I think hearing him say Snips kills me because I love Snips so much. And just him, the like going in and out of him being Vader, then Anakin, then Vader. Like, I got chills, but I mean, we got home and immediately rewatched it, and I got chills both times. It's really hard to pick a favorite moment. I loved every fucking second of it, but obviously all the Clone Wars shit was the best.
Yeah, the Clone Wars accurate outfit was
yes. That to
everything
me,
from the headpiece to what she was wearing to his armor and all that. Oh my god.
It was perfect. I always kind of like envisioned what he would look like in live action, and like they nailed it. Even the hair was fucking phenomenal.
The hair coif.
The little coif. Yeah, like they managed to emulate like that look in live action. I think first off, people are giving a lot of shit for like the de-aging. I didn't have a really big problem with it. The de-aging in this episode was fucking peak.
I thought it was really good. Like, whatever they do that everywhere else now.
To me, like the de-aging in this, it's tied with Samuel L. Jackson and Captain Marvel, because I don't think that they could have possibly done anything better than that. Fucking incredible.
Don't crack, baby. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah, everything during the Clone Wars. I told Ray that when I got home, like there was a small bit of me that was actually like mad for 3 seconds because when they showed young Ahsoka a few years down the line and she had her blue lightsabers, I was like, those fucking idiots! How did they do? She didn't get her blue lightsabers until the Siege of Mandalore, and then she starts cutting on Mandalorians, and I was like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
I was
how dare you question Dave?
I shouldn't have questioned Dave.
It was his episode, bro.
Yeah,
he got this.
I mean, shit, dude. Like it's just like one of those, you never really expect to see those moments, and then bam, they hit us over the bat, or like over the head with a bat for all of them. And I was so happy to see like all of these things that I guess I really never thought we would see in live action. I was always like, this would be great, this would be great, this would be great. And then we finally got to see them, not just on screen, but on the big screen for us specifically. Anyone else who got to see those screenings, was vibing probably just as much as we were. But that was something else, man. And I will truly never forget that night.
I know, right? If you had to watch it on TV, you normies.
And it still holds up on TV, but man, like, go rent a theater and fucking throw that episode on, because it's worth it. Yeah,
man, that was crazy.
I was like reeling last night. Like literally, I couldn't. I mean, I've seen a lot of great movies, and I walked out of that thinking it was one of the best things I've seen in the movies. Like it, and I mean, obviously there's so much behind it. We have years and years and years of Clone Wars behind that. So it's like, it has background to be as powerful as it was. But dude, they nailed it.
Nailed it.
I feel really validated as like a longtime Star Wars fan who has dedicated my time to watching like all of the series, all the animated series, all the live action shows. That was for you.
That was literally for you.
Like it's kind of like how it feels. And I went to go see the Clone Wars movie in theaters like with my brother in 2008, and I remember walking out of it being like, who's this Ahsoka bitch? And I was like,
hated her after that movie.
Yeah, now I'm out here like I would die for that. I was talking to Ray last night. I was like, if you've watched everything Star Wars related and Ahsoka is somehow not in your like top 10 Star Wars characters, then I don't think I would really like to know what you're watching.
Matt's like, she's 11.
Just missed the cut.
But it's something that I do genuinely feel like, Ray, I was giddy as well, and this is going to sound probably weird to some people, but maybe normal to others. Like, I wanted to go home and dump over a bucket of Legos and just like build a starship. Like, it like brought out the inner child in me. as Matt's child steps through.
I was gonna say that was either a ghost or a child. But
I knew what that was. I had no idea where that analogy was going.
I just that's fair. It's fair. It was just like
that's funny.
My inner child was living last night.
You're gonna take Ray home and do what? Like this is. I know we got the warning on here.
As the battlefield. I'm gonna use her as the battlefield. I'm like, she said we could use toys in bed, and I brought out the Legos.
A flesh lightsaber. It's on the way. It's on the way.
Oh man, that's funny.
We have a plan.
One of the things I really, first of all, when like the first flashback happens, I think I looked at you and I was like crying. But I think one of the really cool things was after Ahsoka wakes up and now she's, very subtly in all white and all that stuff. She has a very noticeable, but yet subtle at the same time, change in character. Like
same, but different.
She doesn't.
Literally. Yeah. What? Wait, wasn't there a moment, Mike?
I feel like when she was unconscious and she like,
she blinked. Yeah, she finally.
Oh, you saw the blink?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he called it out when we watched it the second time.
That's awesome.
But
we got
I don't know. Yeah. But like when she's in the ship and he's like, so where's this going? She's like, I have no idea. He's like, what? She's like, no idea. Like I love the way she says it, and it just
go anywhere.
She's like, she just feels very like light and free but not obviously like wise and knowledgeable and all that. And
so Mikey, my question for you, with the change to the white robes now, because she's had like a spiritual awakening, are you forgiving them for ruining the epilogue of Rebels?
Yeah, no, I think that like obviously Dave had a reason to do that, and while it is unfortunate that like it had to retcon that series, it is an epilogue, so like we'll call it what it is.
It really just epilogue the outfit. The scene stayed the same. It's just the outfit.
This is
and the staff.
This is like a creative change that I have to get behind. Ahsoka went through something very important to her character. She emerged Ahsoka the White instead of Ahsoka the Gray. I know that, obviously we've kind of like hinted at like the Gandalf references. Dave Filoni very much has gone on record saying that he sees them as similar characters, and I do like the comparison because she's been through so much and experienced so much throughout the timeline. So yeah, I am totally fine with the retcon now. It just makes sense, and I think I feel like in Marvel like shows, they get the new outfit in like the second to last episode at the very end, and then you get one episode of them looking tough as fuck in their new fit, and now we're gonna get 3 episodes of Ahsoka looking tough as shit in her white fit.
Look, so y'all third eyes ain't open. If you peeped, her new cloak doesn't have the breakaway button because she's at peace. She's not ready for battle at all times no more. She's at peace. She's like, I don't need to just be ready for action. I just need to let things breathe.
Well, when she first woke up, she literally just had like a blanket.
I liked that because I was just like, oh, cool callback to the white cloak. But then when she stepped out of the vessel, she had the white cloak. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, she had the blanket wrapped around. She was like, this looks kind of cool.
Because I was concerned with
her new headpiece looks.
Yeah.
Okay, she did have a new headpiece, right?
Yeah,
I was wondering that. Okay.
I thought that too.
I mean, I've watched it 3 times now, so I better have picked that up, right?
Yeah. Also, her without a headpiece.
I thought they might have just polished the old
shined it up.
While she was in the water for a long time, just cleaned up,
Cleaned it up.
That's true.
Yeah, her without
and seeing her without it, they did a great job of making it look real.
So good.
But it was still weird. I'm like,
Yeah.
Literally the only other time we've seen her without it is when she's an infant in Tales of the Jedi.
Baby. Yep.
That would make sense. I guess you're not born with a headpiece.
That might
feel
hurt.
a little weird. Ouch.
So, Ahsoka goes through this harrowing journey, and, I really... Harrowing.
She did harrowing?
I really liked the connection. I like that it's Jason is the one who is able to help them find her, and he's hearing their battle through like waves of the Force, just like the waves crashing on the beach. I thought that was awesome, like imagery, sound mixing, very cool. And I also love that because of Hera's experiences, and this is another reason why I think I felt really validated as a fan. She didn't question her son when clearly something weird was happening. And Zeb has a great line in season 4 of Rebels, and he's talking to Ryder Azadi as they're like escaping on the Lothwolves, and he's like, "It's okay when it gets weird. It's good. It's good when it gets weird." And it got weird, and Hera acknowledged that it was getting weird and like leaned into it and trusted her son and his intuition through the Force. And I really liked that connection. It makes me even more hopeful that Jason's going to get some special training from not only hopefully Ezra in the future, but also Ahsoka. So they can be
rating students. How old is he going to be when she's teaching?
I think he's a little older than Rey.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. He could be like
maybe he's a teacher at the temple. Who knows?
There you go. Yeah, that's what it is. He teaches gym class.
What's the Star Wars equivalent to dodgeball? I feel like it's just still dodgeball, but they use the Force instead.
Quidditch crosses over.
Quidditch crosses over.
Oh wait, what am I talking about? There's a whole bunch of things at Jedi Temple Challenge that Matt knows so well that we.
You know what's funny? I really just watched like the opening trailer, and I just it's a facade that I'm super knowledgeable about Jedi Temple Challenge.
That's right. We're covering it next on Andy, Are You Okay? The Star Wars podcast.
Yeah, literally watched the trailer in like 2 minutes of episode. I feel like I got the gist of this. Like I know how this works. But it's good. What else? Well, what else? So much to talk about. Like, I don't know where to start.
Freaking, I was so impressed by young Ahsoka. I absolutely loved her. I was so impressed by the lightsaber battles. And then I was like, I know she looks familiar, and I was trying to think of it. And then my dad texted me today that it's young Gamora, and I was like, yeah, shit. Is. And
look at her niche, playing younger everyone.
Barbie movie. She was also Sasha in the Barbie movie. But yeah, she, as soon as he said that, I was like, I fucking knew where she was from. And
that's definitely her.
She was insane. Even
she killed it.
In that very first scene when she like says master or something like that, she sounds like Ashley. Yeah, like it's insane. Like not the whole time she speaks, but like there's that one like her intro word that I was like, did they bring Ashley in? Like she sounded just like her.
Yeah.
But the lightsaber battles, so good. Made up for my criticisms from last week.
I liked the lightsaber battles from last week. I really enjoyed.
I did too.
It's just, I mean, Hayden is literally a master swordsman. I think that him and Ewan were like on Olympic caliber level after Revenge of the Sith. Dude, they were trained by an Olympic athlete, I believe. He's like a master swordsman.
Michael Phelps? Dang, he switched over to swimming?
I think he switched over.
All right.
He said, "This is freestyle."
That means two things.
I
was trying to cue you up. I was giving you the line. Which,
double entendre. Don't ask me how.
Don't ask him how. A Star Wars podcast. But yeah, there's so much. Did you also notice that, much like, Han Solo and Leia, that Hera and Caleb also had a Filipino child somehow? That just seems to be what happens.
I love that you said Hera and Caleb instead of Hera and Kanan.
What? Oh shit! You
got it right.
I was going to say I said his real name.
Yeah,
not his slave name.
Yeah,
that's the first. I had this in my Easter egg section, but fuck it, we're talking about it. It was the first mention of Kanan Jarrus in live action, which was cool to see too.
The picture was just the only reference. The picture of Freddie Prinze Jr. on her.
Yeah, which I'm honestly like. I can't believe whoever found that. Like, obviously, they're probably never tuning into this, but kudos to them for fucking.
They're watching me. They're definitely tuning into this, bro. Manifest.
No owl.
No owl.
No owl, man. See, look, because Quidditch goes both ways. Fucking Hedwig. She not doing her job, bro. Do your job.
No more eye sighting. Was anyone disappointed with how they handled the world between worlds? I wasn't. But yeah, like there were a lot of things that I think just because of the historical context of the episodes that have come before it. It was the same but different, like a lot of things in this episode. We didn't see any doorways. Like when Ahsoka even returns from the world between worlds, like it just collapses in on itself, which is beautiful imagery regardless. I truly wonder if in the volume, as they're stepping, if the floor was reacting to like where they were stepping. It'd be cool if they like planned that and like had it in there. I'm sure if they do a Disney Gallery episode, we'll see.
Wouldn't be surprised. Wouldn't be surprised at all. But I feel the same way. I kind of was hoping. I am very happy with what they did do, but I did kind of want him to like take her on like a tour and like show her doorways to shit that she needed to see and like let that be it. But I enjoyed thoroughly how they were doing. But yeah, I did want to see some doors and an owl. That's all. To see doors and an owl.
Yeah.
Name of this episode: Doors and an Owl.
Did you guys get the vibe that? Obviously we saw the important moments of her flashbacks, but the phrase from Anakin where it was like, "You've learned nothing," like we're going back to the beginning, made me feel like the time we were spending, quote unquote, off screen with Hera and everyone else looking for them, she was going through the entirety of the Clone Wars and like learning new things from those battles that she had experienced, as opposed to just because they literally went from the beginning to the end almost.
Yeah.
So did you guys feel the same way, or do you think
watched Clone Wars? That's what she was doing.
Yeah, all 7 seasons, baby.
All 7 seasons. She's like, all right, cool, I'm caught up. Let's go.
Yeah, I wondered that too. I would have liked to see that. As much as like Hera and all that stuff was very interesting and I loved it, I would have liked to see all of Clone Wars. But yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Like it seemed like there was probably more, even if it wasn't the entirety.
So I love this question. This is why I love you guys, because I didn't even know if I was going to bring this up because I didn't want to feel like, oh, maybe I missed a thing. So I get the lesson, live or die. Like I get that. I'm a bit gray on like what the application of that lesson is supposed to be. Like I didn't feel like I get that, like, she had to, was she coming to grips with the fact that she walked away from being a Jedi? Is she accepting the fact that she is really a Jedi, or she's more than a Jedi? I know she had mentioned like she was more, but like I was confused as to like what the aha moment was for her and like how this is supposed to help her get Ezra back. Like was this like remembering old fighting techniques because you're gonna need that where you going type time? It just feels like usually when Star Wars gives you that go on a quest to find yourself moment, like that all the characters go through, it's like I can be like, all right, cool, they needed to learn that to do this. Like type time, like Luke had to learn to accept that his father was dead, which he really didn't. So that fucking whole lineup just don't listen. That whole lineage, that's their legacy. They don't listen. But yeah, but I was a bit like, all right, well, what did she actually learn? Like, what was the lesson that Anakin had to be the one to be there to teach her, for her to take this to this new galaxy to like save Ezra?
Mike, I feel like you'll have more to say on this, so just like a quick. I don't know words today. But I kind of like the vagueness of a few of the things around it. Like, yeah, there's obviously parts of her time there that we're missing. How did she get there? How did she get back? Like, is there a portal? Was she like in kind of like a purgatory type thing? And yeah, I agree. I feel like I wasn't totally sold on like what this lesson was and how it helped. I would probably argue that the lesson had nothing to do with Ezra and nothing to do with Sabine and was purely for her to get to the enlightenment that she gets when she comes out of it. But I agree. I didn't totally understand what the lesson was.
So
real quick,
go ahead.
To go along with that, Rachel, like, so that's why I say this question is hard for me to phrase it, because I agree. Whatever she went through was to have her receive that enlightenment. But I guess my question is, what's supposed to be the point of her enlightenment? Like, what is this peace of mind about to help her do? I guess, because if it was just for her being comfortable to get in the Purgle's mouth, I'm like, all right, because you're at peace. So you're just like, wherever we end up, we end up. So yeah, so I guess like her coming to grip. Yeah, I don't know. Go ahead, Mike. I'm just like, I just don't understand like what's the purpose of the enlightenment if that was.
I think it really plays into some of the final moments of their confrontation when she appears to have Sith eyes. Ahsoka was raised during wartime and as a soldier, and her legacy of quote unquote death and destruction, as Baylan puts it, for Anakin, she chooses to throw away that darkness at the end of the battle and shows mercy, but chooses to live in what I was gathering from the Clone Wars flashbacks is that it's how she's going to choose to fight to live. That is what she needed to find for herself, which was a similar lesson to what Ezra had to learn during Rebels. He talks to Yoda about this. It's like, how Jedi choose to fight is how they can win. And she's choosing life. She's choosing to live over death and like letting the dark side kind of like corrupt her pathway. And I think she comes away with clarity of knowing that, her legacy is not one of death and destruction. Her legacy is a part of so much more than more than even the Jedi that came before her, but the people that she's helped, the people that she's allowed to, or not allowed, but like helped live, because she is responsible for saving several people. I mean, we see it throughout. And she's also not completely responsible for all the death and destruction that's come before her. It was her job as a Jedi to, be the defender of peace and justice. But since she walked away from the Order, that doesn't mean that her legacy as a Jedi has to be defined by her time during the Clone War. And that is really what I think she's been struggling with, is that like when she walked away and didn't complete her training, she's been holding on to the baggage of the death and destruction that she felt responsible for during that part of her life. And when she gets back into the fray with the rebels, she's still fighting a war. And it's not in wartime, so now she's choosing to live for all the people who can't right now. And I think that that's the point that Anakin was trying to get across to her. And like how she chooses to live from here moving forward, can be a path closer to the light instead of this one that, has her struggling with her dark side, which is maybe why she's been wearing gray the whole time. I'm trying to like look at the color symbolism in this and see like maybe that is something that was more telling than we knew this whole time, that there was really a lot of darkness inside her that she's been pushing down, and now she's kind of like breathing and letting go. And I like that it kind of in a way she's like baptized by being in the ocean, right? She's like getting rid of that darkness, and when she comes out of it, she can finally breathe again instead of holding her breath, which has like all that like darkness in her. So that's how I've interpreted it. I still think that there's an opportunity for them to give us more of a clear definition of what that is, but you raised a really good question, Matt, and I think that ultimately it's something that is going to probably end up making this show great, because sometimes Star Wars is better when it's a little ambiguous, and we can kind of imprint our own feelings on it. So
because I could see that being a thing that doesn't really get like a definitive answer. And I guess like I love your explanation, but because I watched Clone Wars, I guess it's hard for me to see Ahsoka as a character who like struggles from inner turmoil, because that doesn't play out on screen. Like she's been the beacon for the characters that struggle from inner turmoil. Like they would like Ezra, like when he was conflicted with shit, he leaned on her. Sabine conflicted with shit, leans on her. They've never let Ahsoka's trauma from her past, like she was a kid that had to like learn to become a soldier, like that would be some traumatic shit. And like them showing how, and they've always showed that she was definitely close with her clone troop. So like, if they ever were to like let that play out like more, then I could be like, all right, that's what she was letting go. But it's always seemed that one of Ahsoka's like key attributes is that she has made peace with a lot. Like once she like justified leaving the Order and like, yo, y'all let me down, I didn't let y'all down. Like, y'all threw me out and was wrong, and I told y'all. It seemed like she's always been the person, like, all right, I don't skew either way. Like, I'm blazing my own path. Like, I'm doing my own thing, and I'm convicted with my shit. So I guess having it now be that she's been conflicted inside, and she didn't, she has regrets and all that shit is just like, where'd that come from? Like, so
I'm going to use trademark TM Yali, all caps, famous phrase. I'm going to challenge that.
Go up, please,
right?
please.
Because I think your interpretation is valid, but I really think that, and I resonate with this a lot because I feel like I tend to do this. Ahsoka has probably been bottling this trauma and emotions, and a lot of people who are really good at giving advice aren't always the best at taking their own advice.
Oh, we getting deep. Let's go.
So I do think that feels like Ahsoka. It's like built into her character. And it's like, yeah, she can be this and project this, but she can't always be the one who's helping herself. And so that's why Anakin had to step in.
Challenge a challenge?
Let me hear it.
That is 1000% logical and rational and spot on. That is not how you write a TV show. You can't project a character's turmoil in a written show. Like, the point of the writing is for that to be written into the show. So I look at shit too literal because, like, I went to, like, acting school, stuff like that. So it's like things like that do tend to, like, bog me down. But it's just like, I agree. Like I was saying, like, the breadcrumb trails are there that she has some type of, spiritual PTSD. Like, that's there. But, like, in a show that's made for viewership, not ever giving someone like that on screen and then dropping it, and for me it makes it feel very unearned. It's just like she had this an awakening of what? Like, and then because I watched Rebels, last I saw Rebels, she had the Jesus sheet with the staff. She was at peace. Like, and then even through Ahsoka, like, outside of, like, the regret that she's had from, like, her and Sabine's relationship being strained, she seemed pretty even keeled. Like, and that could 1000% be, like, her being a barrier, for lack of a better term, or, like, not giving her those types of, not letting us peek at moments where she might have been like, shit, I feel weird about this. Like, like, even with, like, the whole, like, literally matter of fact, I think that's why I'm beefing with this. Literally the last episode, her and Sabine had that conversation, like, yo, I need to know that you'll break that map if we can't figure this out. It was Sabine who was conflicted. Had Sabine had this awakening arc, I 1000% would have rolled with that. She's been torn the whole fucking show. But, like, to have Ahsoka be on some literally last week, like, yo, you need to be willing to make the big sacrifices for the greater good if that need be. And again, Ahsoka being the rational one, and then now all of a sudden she's recovering from all this trauma that I never knew was there. It's hard for me to, like, I do accept it because I'm excited for what's about to come next, but it's just like, that just feels like they were just moving the plot ahead. Like, just like, all right, we just need Ahsoka to get the white cloak on. Let's go.
You know what? I think that, and Ray, I'm not going to stop you from speaking. I just want to say real quick.
Ma'am, the ring. My eyes.
Let's hold on to, like, this discussion topic and see where it plays out and bring this up in our later episodes. Because I do want to come back to this and see if, like, we get our resolution later down the line, because I think you bring up a good point from a writing standpoint. Like, we should be getting some sort of resolution, and I think it's fair to feel the way that you feel. I obviously, like, feel a little differently, but I definitely think that there's more that can be explained, and I'm no longer going to be stepping on Ray's territory. So go ahead, Ray. Tell us what you're thinking.
Yeah, so I have a lot of things to say. You guys said a lot.
Say them all.
Now I'm trying to remember. So I agree. Like, I mean, there's no doubt that Ahsoka is the biggest character development in Star Wars. I mean, I don't know if you can argue that. I mean, she has gone from fucking annoying to, you love her. She's very, like, lighthearted. She kind of, keeps Anakin on his toes, to you do start to see like a little bit of an edgier side, once she leaves and then beyond, and you see her go through a lot of loss. I mean, with Order 66 and all that stuff. And, I do feel like I've said it, ever since Mando, but Rosario Dawson plays a very different Ahsoka, but she plays an older Ahsoka. So it kind of, we don't know a ton of older Ahsoka aside from, the bits that we see in Rebels. So I agree with you, Matt. I think that she has never struck me as someone who would really like dabble with like the dark side or have darkness or anything like that in her. She seems to be, like you said, very even keel. And I agree with you, Mike, like that makes sense from a logical standpoint, but like not from like a writing standpoint. I will say though, I mean, you look at that scene at the end of Clone Wars of all the helmets lined up. How are you not fucked up after that? And,
Facts.
We see her in Rebels, but not like super intimately, I would say. And then we see her in Mando and she's already on a fucking mission. So, I can see that we haven't necessarily been able to kind of see that. But I would actually argue that last episode, when Sabine is conflicted, I actually almost wonder if, Ahsoka was saying to destroy the map if they weren't going to be able to get there. And that would ultimately be abandoning Ezra.
Right.
Which to me doesn't feel like Ahsoka. So I almost wonder if this enlightenment almost brought her back to like
we
that,
choose
like,
to fight.
Yeah, like so, she had it like, we just have to stop the war. That's it. If we can get Ezra, great, but that's not my priority. Which to me doesn't feel like Ezra, doesn't feel like Ahsoka. So now I'm like, I mean, obviously she's got to get there because for many reasons, the bad guys are on their way there, and Sabine and Ezra. So like the stakes are even higher now. But like, I almost wonder if we started seeing her go away from sort of her like true self, in the name of war and in the name of destruction and like all that stuff. And maybe this kind of brought her back. Another thing I wonder about.
I love that explanation, by the way. I'm sold.
Thanks. See, I don't ruin everything. So another thing I'm wondering is if part of the enlightenment that she was searching for was if she had, and again, I agree, we've never really seen this anywhere else, but an internalized fear that she had darkness in her like Anakin did, because she said that to him. She said like, I can't be like everything that you are, right? Like I felt like there was an uncertainty that like she was hoping to get out of him that like, no, you can choose to not do what I did, basically. And that could be me reading into it a little bit. I don't know. I'm also wondering if we find out a little bit more about what happened between her and Sabine, what happened to Sabine's family, if maybe we'll see a little bit of that in there too. So I think I got it, all of it.
That was great. That was great.
No, I really like that explanation. Would you say that it's more about saving what we love instead of fighting what we hate?
Okay.
A very underrated line. Yeah. A very underrated line from The Last Jedi from Rose Tico.
Oh, that's why I didn't know where it came from.
And from Rose? Damn, look at you. Helping the underdog.
Rose said if I'm going to get 2 seconds of screen time, I'm going to make it count.
It's going to be good.
And she made him count.
And John Boyega said, I got 4 seconds, so I'm going to make him count.
But there definitely is ambiguity that I appreciate. Like, I'm very big on I want things to make sense. I don't want it to just be like, okay, there's all these loose ends, you figure it out. Like, that's not good writing. But I also don't think it's good. Yeah. I also don't think it's good writing to have someone come out and like lay it all out there for you and like not let there be, you know, and at that point kind of insult your intelligence a little bit. So, you know, I think a little bit of ambiguity, like I personally don't need to know how she got into the world of worlds. I'm fine.
Sorry.
What'd I say?
World of Worlds.
Just words. They don't control us.
Yeah.
The world of Worldcraft.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but like I don't need to know that. So like I'm okay with that ambiguity, but I do agree. Like I think the lesson was a little bit confusing, but I think we could draw. I love your explanation. We could draw a couple lines. Yeah,
I love your explanation about, you know, because like you said, like since Clone Wars, like Ahsoka has always been about, you know, like the people that she came with. Like if you with me, you with me. So like having her older Ahsoka being on some like, yeah, if we can't save him, we got to destroy the map. Like that could have been like, damn, that's not me. Like I love this guy. Ezra's my boy. Like, you know, I'm about to say his last words to me were, "Come find me." Like, whether or not he knew what that was gonna mean at that time. Like, but it's just like, so that could have been it. Like the last time you spoke to him, my man said like, "Please come find me." Like, and you was like saying like, "Dang, I'm gonna have to break my promise." So that could have been that. I liked that. Did anybody else thought it was hilarious? Like when Ahsoka and Anakin were having a conversation about, you know, like, you know, you're my legacy, you are what I am and stuff. And like when she kind of like threw the jab, like, yeah, but you like slaughtered younglings, and he was just like, oh, that? Like,
is this what you're mad about?
Yeah, he's like, bro, I've been dead for years. Like I've made peace with that.
And I've killed a lot more people since then too.
Yeah, I thought that was hilarious. He was like, oh, that thing, that whole Darth Vader thing. Oh,
yeah, don't get me wrong. Killing kids is savage, but there's a moment in the comics where he gets like shot down by a bunch of rebels, and they have him surrounded, and they're like, surrender, and he's like, we have you surrounded, and he says, all I'm surrounded by is fear and dead men.
Well, I thought that
man was a savage.
Yeah, I mean, no lie. Like, I thought that part was hilarious because he wasn't like, "Oh, I'm so sorry, and I know I let you down." He was like, "Man, come on, well, that's in the past. Like, I'm dead. I'm a ghost. I'm a ghost right now. I don't even look like that guy. He was old. I'm young again. But yeah, that was great. I'm lying though. I do have a different favorite part. It's when Rachel gave her soliloquy of an explanation. That was up there with the writers, with the James Joyces, you know, the Homers. That was up there. Literary excellence, you know. Judy Blume, you know. But I love the part where Ahsoka did her sense echo and like figured out that like Sabine had betrayed her, and they were just like, "What happened?" And she was like, "Nothing." She had to like keep it tight. She was just like, oh, she left with them. Like you saw the pain. Like, damn, my homegirl done sold me out. Yo. Like, but yeah, I love
Matt, my friend.
Part.
I'm glad you brought that up because I did a little research this week, and I did look into our force power here called psychometry. Just wanted to double check that that's actually what it's called. It's what it's called.
Give it to him.
And it is not a common force power. Some Jedi have been known to develop it later in life, so it's not totally off base, but yes, that is what she's doing, that's what she's using, and yeah, there's actually, it's like one of those very rare force powers that not a lot of them have, so maybe just because Ahsoka's been around for so long, this is something they decided to give her. Feels like maybe a little influenced by, like Filoni must have been playing a lot of Fallen Order when he was writing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely kind of like cool to see it play out the way it has, and if there's another Jedi to get it, I'm kind of glad it was Ahsoka. It felt like it really helped and lended to the storytelling of this series.
So yeah, but I love Rosario Dawson's like the facial cues, like where
the pensiveness,
like where like just like where you saw that like she was really hurt that Sabine gave him the map. Like that like was like, damn, I told her to destroy it. She said that she told me that she got my back. Like, and she didn't have my back. So I was just like, her not wanting to like tell everybody like, yo, to being like kind of betrayed us just a little bit. It's a little bit of betrayal, just a tad, little splash. Betray a Jace.
She betrayed one friend to save another.
Yeah.
But I wonder if other people, like, I don't know that Hera would have seen it as a betrayal, because Hera also really wanted to save Ezra. So that could
Hera
be
would have did the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, I wonder if part of that enlightenment was her kind of battling a little bit of like, did she, like, do I see it as a betrayal, do I understand where she was coming from? But we don't know, because it was all like in her face.
Yeah. It did look like there was like a moment of sadness. To, like,
I agree. It was like
a damn.
Yeah, like, no, I definitely agree. Yeah.
This might help you guys with how you feel about the live or die lesson, but Ahsoka has gone on record, specifically Rosario Dawson, talking about even Grogu and like the attachment aspect of things, being like, I've seen what attachments have done to even the strongest Jedi. And you know, it's funny because like we see that in the prequel trilogy, but like you could even argue that in the original trilogy and even the sequel trilogy, it's their attachments that give them strength to an extent, you know. And like Luke's love for his friends, you know, gives him strength, and it helps it pull him out of the light. He's, you know, it's his love for his father that keeps him from turning completely to the dark side in that moment. And maybe the live or die lesson allowed her to come away that like, she doesn't have to fear attachments, and Sabine gave into her attachment at that moment. You know what I mean?
I mean, so to devil's advocate, if you look at the lineage of the Skywalker, Jin, Ahsoka line of Padawan masters, their attachments also led to every major terrible thing happening in their lives. Because like if you want to start at the beginning, only reason Anakin became a Jedi was because of Obi-Wan's attachment to Qui-Gon, because he made him a promise that he was going to train him, even though everybody in the room said, let's not train him. Like, let's just leave it alone. That happened. And then if you want to then take it to Revenge of the Sith, obviously, I don't need to break down the Anakin Padme attachment. That's kind of that's duh.
Let's talk about Dooku's attachment to Qui-Gon being the final nail on the coffin.
Look, bro, those ideologies is what kind of led to Qui-Gon being fast and loose with his training and whatnot. Obi-Wan's attachment to Anakin, he didn't make sure that my man's was dead. Like, he was just like, oh, he's dead. I'm pretty sure I got him. Like, took his shit and left him there. So it's just like, the ends don't always justify the means, because yes, those attachments do like fix the messes afterwards, but they also cause the problems. But I do love that, like, right, again, the soliloquy too. Like, I do love like that being what she possibly made peace with. Like, damn, like back in the day, I'd have did what Sabine did, but in this day, I wouldn't have. That ain't me. Like that, I do like that. Maybe that was because, you know, I do think that her saying to Hera, like at the end, like, yo, I'll find him. Like, I promise. Like, I'm gonna make this happen. That could have been like her committing to, you know, the Ahsoka that cares, like that is attachments. Because like you were just saying, Mike, and kind of what Rachel was saying before, when they were having the conversation about her being afraid of possibly having dark side in her because her master, like that could be like shit, like damn, if I grow attached to these kids, I saw what happens, you know, when Jedis grow attached to people. So she could have been trying to fight it this whole time, like keeping people at an arm's length. That might be why her and Sabine's relationship is like it is. She was like, yo, I'll train you, but I can't like you. Bad things happen when my lineage likes people. Bad things happen. So that could, I thought we cracked the code, guys. We cracked the code.
I think that's a big part of it. And then like, and even when she says, I love that you brought up when she said like I promise I'll find them. Like, she's so much lighter. Like, she's just, there's so much lifted off of her. And like, again, we might never totally understand what that something is, but
that's when she started blinking.
Well, they said sleep with one eye open, and now she's like, I'm good.
She stressed to blink back in the day. She's like, I might miss something.
Yeah, but I mean, I think all of that can kind of be wrapped up into the ambiguity a little bit too.
Can I share you guys? I guess this falls into the area of prediction, but I'm a little scared that
your show, pal. Do what you want.
She said, I'll find them, but she never said I'll bring them back. And
she won't come back by herself. I did find them.
Yeah,
that scares
me. That scares me a little bit.
I did find them.
Mike, why did you say that?
What?
You're the ruiner now.
I'm not the ruiner. When I was writing my
You're
plot synopsis, I had to backspace because I said I wrote down I will bring them back, and it's no, I will find them before.
Because she can't promise that she'll bring them back. She can only promise that she'll find them, but like they could all die.
That could be on some. I don't think I'm gonna make it back. I'll send them back, and maybe I won't make it back. You know,
fair enough.
We don't know where she's at in the current timeline.
That's true. We don't know. We don't know what Ahsoka's story is leading. But do you guys have any predictions for the final 3 episodes that we're about to embark on? Like, how soon do we think Thrawn shows up? When does Ezra show up?
Can I ask a question before we get into our predictions?
Yeah.
Because I feel like because all the Clone War awesomeness took place, because the awesomeness of that whole episode took place, I feel like a very overlooked part that a lot of people shouldn't be as excited, that should be way more excited. We're about to be in a whole new galaxy with a whole new everything. Like, yo, it's a blank canvas. Dave could go nuts. They could drop in Times Square. Like, what the fuck is this? They could drop in the MCU. We don't know. Like, is anybody else not like geeked about this? Like, new species of aliens? Like, do they use lightsabers? The flesh lightsaber, is it big over there too? Like, we have no idea. I'm so excited.
I mean, yeah, all the universe doesn't happen to be where we stand, so it makes sense.
What enormous coincidence, bitch. You see what I'm saying? No, but like...
I just wonder how much we'll see, or if we're going right to Terabithia. You know what I mean?
I feel like Purgles make pit stops. Purgles definitely take a little break, a little snack.
Eat space.
Also, how did we not mention? I mean, I guess it's implied, but like Rex. Didn't mention Rex at all, by the way. BT dubs.
Oh, guys, I have a whole Easter egg section. Come on.
Okay, fine.
Like you've been here before.
Sorry.
Little girl
I just thought about it, and I was like,
girl gets engaged, it does her own thing now.
I love Rex. It's my show now.
She said we married.
She got it in the disengagement.
We are changing the name to Rachel. Are you okay?
The prenup will not include the podcast. No, I'm just kidding.
It's actually just gonna, instead of being Rachel is okay, it's just gonna be Ray, like with a bunch of E's, and replace it's gonna be the same exact logo design, just gonna be Ray! Star Wars podcast.
Are you okay? Are you okay? It's gonna be great.
Oh, also, one thing that was said at work today, got to bring Jeremy into it.
Our guy Jeremy.
3 for 3, baby.
Jeremy was thinking, of course, so yeah, we were talking about it. They were him and Killian were very jealous that we saw on the big screen. But he was saying
shouldn't have been brewing your own homebrew, Jer. Should have came out.
But he was saying that he was like, I bet they're looking for the biggest Purgle because that's the most traveled one. And Killian was like, it's the one the ship can fit inside. And he was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. And I don't know why. I just thought that was really fucking funny.
That Purgle been rammed through.
Yeah. He knows where he's going. He's going to show some good times.
On the block.
He's seen some shit. He's
done some shit.
But I do think it's funny that they're
great.
Like Moby dicking it and like just traveling in his mouth.
Got it in the Easter egg section, right? Come on.
All right.
Moby dicking it, the name of this episode.
Moby dicking it. Moby dicking it down.
Moby dicking it down. Name of this episode.
All right, I'll stop.
It was going to be Annie is more than okay, but I will make it Moby dicking it down.
Not one of your best.
But yeah, any major predictions from you guys? I'm going to say that the entire next episode is going to be heavily focused around Sabine. That would be so boring. Heavily around Sabine, Balin, and Shin. And we'll get some character development there, probably with Thrawn showing up at the tail end of the episode.
At the end, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, we got 3 episodes left, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
I wouldn't be surprised if next episode is them in the Eye of Sauron at the same time as this episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like like they're kind of happening at least somewhat
Congruent.
Thank you. And then we get Terabithia and Thrawn at the end. And then we have 2 full episodes of Terabithia, Thrawn, Ezra, he's got to be there somewhere. And so hopefully it's not just like 1 episode of Thrawn and Ezra. So that's my guess.
I'm going completely rogue.
Let's hear it.
Checking in. I think we get into Terabithia at the beginning of the episode. Because we in a brand new galaxy, brand new environment. I feel like they're going to want to play around and explore a little bit, get us acclimated to the new scenery. And then, because think of what you got to do, Dev. You still got to, because we know Thrawn shows back up in his white vest coat looking spiffy. So it's like, we don't know where they've been at. So I don't, for some reason, I've always just been under the impression that like Ezra and Thrawn were on like a deserted island together, stuck together for some reason.
Yes, that's what I pictured.
So it's like, that's just what I've always seen. But I'm like, they realistically could have landed in civilization somewhere, just been like living lives. So if I'm going under the assumption that they might have just been living wherever they're at, like there might be like, because I would imagine it, thinking that they're about to show us a new galaxy for the first time, I don't know that they would want to like drop us off in a deserted planet. Like he would like want new aliens and buildings and colors and shit. So assuming that like Thrawn and Ezra like aren't cavemen with beards just like surviving like in the wilderness, I think we're gonna get to Terabithia like at the first half of that episode. But I don't think we get Thrawn in that one. I think that they're gonna have to like go find them like wherever they're at, like whether Thrawn already is running shit and they need to like get a meeting with them. But I don't think we get them in this. I think the next episode will be about exploring this new place, wherever we end up.
Do you think we'll see it from Ahsoka's perspective or Sabine's perspective, or both?
I'm going to say, because I think they're going to end up in Terabithia in the first half, they're going to be like on the Eye of Sauron, heading to Mordor for like at least like the first 20, 30 minutes. So I will think it'll be from that perspective.
I doubt anyone's listening to this episode before they listen to the other episodes that we do for this, but just in case they are,
for the random person watching,
we've been calling Meridia Terabithia, and the Eye of Sion has been Eye of Sauron. So
yeah, buddy.
You're just gonna have to deal with our isms and other nerd cultures.
You can draw the lines, like what are you doing?
Yeah. I could just imagine them being like, the fuck are they watching?
No, we still waiting for Hedwig to bring her ass on over from Hogwarts. She's taking her sweet old time. What was Ron's owl? The dumbass one that used to bite people? It's probably him. That's what's taking so long.
Before we dive into Easter eggs, I do have one more question to kind of like pose to you guys. I know how I feel about this, and then I'll obviously give my opinion. It's my fucking show, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. Where does this rank for you amongst the other live-action Star Wars shows?
Number 1.
Damn, I didn't expect an answer so fast.
A Star Wars podcast.
It's high up there. I don't know if it's my one though. I'm so torn because like Mandalorian's like my shit. Like that's really like
so
my shit. Like season 2, bro. Like what? Season 2 of Mandalorian was next level. I think that might be like number 1 in my heart. I also really liked Andor.
Andor's fantastic show.
I'll say it's in my top 3. It's interchangeable, but it's either 2 or 3. Yeah, I think Mando's like that's my number 1 for sure.
That's fair.
But it's up there. Show's amazing. Love every second of it. It's great.
What about you, Mike?
better than Book of Boba Fett.
So I feel like this episode gave me something that I've been wanting.
I don't know. There's 2 episodes of Book of Boba were fucking great.
Oh yeah, 2. Oh yeah, absolutely. You mean Mandalorian season 2.5.
Yeah.
Well, the final episode was also very good.
Yeah,
it
was.
With the Vespa Rangers, they were awesome.
The Vespa Rangers, yeah.
Vespd.
Oh man, new Power Rangers theme song. So I will say that this is shaping up to be my favorite Star Wars live action show. I think this is my favorite episode of Star Wars television, period. Like if I had to pick one, I think this is it. It's solid front to back. There's some great episodes of Rebels and Clone Wars, but they are typically told in arcs, and I don't think any of them hit the peaks that this does, and it just feels like it's like constantly at that level. Even the scenes with Hera and Hu Yang and Jason, they all kind of like feel like they're feeding into the narrative that we're seeing with Ahsoka. So all the pieces of that like really made me feel like this is the best episode of Star Wars television. Where the show goes from here, these next 3 episodes could be very telling, and like kind of like where I finally feel about this. But yeah, Matt, you make some good points. I mean, I think one of the best episodes of Star Wars television is also Rick Famuyiwa's episode in season 2 of Mando. When
was that the finale?
It's not. It's the one where they have to get the information for Moff Gideon's starship, and they break Bill Burr's character out. Yeah,
that was a good one. I like
that episode.
Did they also break into the base that same episode?
Yeah, they break into the base. The scene where they're all sitting around the table and the commander's talking about Operation Cinder and Bill Burr just loses his shit. To me, that is some of the best acting in Star Wars, like, period, which is so funny because 1, he's primarily a comedian, and 2, he doesn't even like Star Wars that much. And it's like, so you just get this guy who's like, how's he in the room? I don't know. I don't care. But like delivers one of the most genuine kind of like performances, and you feel every beat of his character, and it's only his 2nd appearance in Star Wars. So it's like, it's very strong to me. But yeah, I'm not going to front. This episode gave me something that I've been waiting for a long time. The other thing I've been waiting for a long time is a strong Ezra in live action performance. So if this show can give me that, then yeah, I don't think there's anything stopping this from being my
damn
number 1.
Haircut. I'll be fine.
Yeah, let's hope he's got a better haircut. All right,
just bring back his locks. Just bring back the long hair.
Yesterday, I saw my favorite Star Wars movie ever. It's great.
It was like a movie. It did feel like a movie.
It was.
It was great.
All right, you guys ready for some Easter eggs?
Yep.
Give it to me, Daddy-O.
All right, first one I got here.
I didn't ruin, at least.
Yeah. Kevin Kiner's score harkens back to his droning.
Kevin Costner was in this episode?
No, Kevin Kiner, the composer, dog. His droning, intense synthetic motif from the end of the Clone Wars, the victory and death, that whole thing, plays subtly in the background through all of Ahsoka's flashbacks in the Clone Wars. So next time you're watching, make sure you listen for that. Carson Teva mentions General Organa. This is a direct call out to Leia being the person who's covering for Hera. It shows that they have a standing friendship. We talked about this already, but there's the first reference to Kanan Jarrus in live action. So
shout out to Caleb.
Upon my 3rd rewatch, they were on 3 planets during the Clone Wars flashbacks. The first planet is Teth. It's the planet in the movie when they're climbing up the side of the wall. It's all like, it's like a very like purple undertones and like kind of grays. And there are no Twi'leks seen when that color scheme is on screen. And when the smoke fades in and fades back out to that orange, they're then on Ryloth. That takes place probably after season 1, episode 19 of the Clone Wars, which is Storm over Ryloth before they start their campaign on the planet. And then Rex appears twice in his Phase 1 armor, and then later in his Phase 2 armor. Obviously, fucking love Captain Rex. Wish he could have had more in the episode, but glad to see Tamora Morrison was able to either provide a voice. I'm sure he just provided a voice credit, but it's still cool to kind of like finally get live action Rex.
That's all he does now. He might have been under the helmet.
Yeah. You know, I say we finally got live action Rex, but technically he's in Return of the Jedi. They retcon that.
There you go.
Ahsoka uses the Force power of psychometry. We talked about that. Jonah and the whale, a clear reference here. You know,
Moby dicking it.
Yeah, Moby dicking it.
Moby dicking it.
And then something else we also brought up, Ahsoka wears her new white cloak after her rebirth, reminiscent to Gandalf the Grey's rebirth as Gandalf the White in Lord of the Rings. Filoni has gone on record stating that he sees them as very similar characters. Those are all the Easter eggs I got for the episode. I'm sure there are a handful that I missed, but go watch some YouTuber who's better at this than me, like Screen Crush or New Rockstars.
Different avenue.
And those were all my Easter eggs for the episode. I hand it over to you guys for anything else you want to talk about before we get going here. But yeah, what a fucking incredible episode of Ahsoka. Super pumped to see how this thing finishes out over the next 3 weeks.
I didn't mention it last week, so I just want to give the flowers to whoever the visual effects artist was from last episode. Like when the ocean transitioned into the world between worlds, I thought that shit was fucking dope as hell.
It is beautiful.
And we didn't. I forgot to bring it up, so I was like, let me bring it up now because that shit was like chef's kiss. I was like, oh shit, that's crazy. But yeah, that's that for me.
Right? Anything you want to talk about?
Who's your top 3 droids? We talked about this last night.
Ooh. That's a good question. She asked me... Oh, hold on, wait. Hold on. Sorry. Rewind. It's time for Ask Me Anything. All right, Ray, ask me a question.
Ask me anything?
Because last night, what'd you say? You were like, oh, he's definitely top 5 droids. And I said, bitch, top 3. I love him. I love him a lot.
Right, I'm going... Definitely R2. He's my number 1. I'm gonna go Chop, number 2. I'm gonna go BD1 is my number 3.
Oh, that is a fucking sleeper pick.
I love that.
BD1 is the droid that is your companion in the Jedi Fallen Order and Jedi Survivor games. He is a fantastic little guy. There's a BD unit in the
Boba Fett Mandalorian season.
Boba Fett
Bobalorian season 1.
Mandalorian episode when they're building the N1.
Bobalorian season 1.
Very cool droid. You know what's funny, Matt? I also have a video game droid in my top 3. So I'm gonna go.
Guess what? I don't.
I'm gonna go. I feel like I have to put Chopper number 1 because he's the best. Then number 2, I think I would say HK-47 from the Knights of the Old Republic video games, because I love the way he calls all humans meat bags. And I think Hugh Yang is my number 3.
Yeah.
If it's not Hugh Yang, it's R2, but I think Hugh Yang is definitely has grown on me so much during the course of the series. I really enjoy him.
Also, fuck with as a 6th man of the year. The assault droid that Taika Waititi plays in Mandalorian.
Oh, IG-11, fantastic.
IG-11's great.
He's dope.
Yeah,
he's dope.
Even when Grogu's playing him.
And freaky ass L7, you know.
How does that work? It works.
L7.
I think it's L3. Is
it L3?
Because, well, it's L3 because I forget who named the droid, but it's you remember back in the day when they used to do Leet speak? It's L337. So her name is literally Leet.
Solid, yeah.
Literally don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yes, nerd.
You never saw Holo. Whoa, you never saw Solo?
Oh, it's been a very long time, and I think I only saw it once.
Oh, well, Lando was fucking the robot.
Yeah, he was. Donald Glover said Lando's pansexual. He'll fuck anything.
Yeah.
And then she is now the Millennium Falcon's smart assistant.
So every time they go inside the Falcon, they go inside her. That means 2 things.
I will still say the worst delivered line in Star Wars history was, "She's with the ship now."
The ship now.
That was the worst. Terrible. So you out here fucking outlets. Got it. Right, Rach, give us your 3. Give us your non-video game robots.
Yeah. I think last night I had said, I didn't know the order, but I had said BB-8, Chopper, and Hugh Yang. So I feel like that's probably it. I think it's BB-8, Chopper, Hugh Yang. And then Mike was like, R2's not in there? And I said, no, he's number 4. And then...
you technically didn't put R2's in yours, Mike.
Yeah.
I do love me some R2, though.
Dio's probably number 5.
Sad.
And, C-3PO. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
No shout-outs for AP5, the Snape droid?
Cool. I don't know.
No!
My 5.
AP5 is like hardly better than C-3PO.
Yeah, 3PO's not my guy. I mean, he's cool. He's alright. Thought he was trendy when he had the red arm. That was cool.
You might not recognize him because of his red arm.
Yeah, definitely. Whole new man.
Well, you have been listening to And Are You
Star Wars
Okay?
Podcast.
Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
And we
Star Wars
are.
Podcast.
Thank you, Ray.
You're
Not again, dude. Not again. Not like this. We still have to plug things. You can find me and Matt at all of your favorite nerd podcast places, aka at DB4L Pod, Dragon Ball for Life podcast, where Matt and our brother Travis do all of the fun things, talking to anime voice actors and all sorts of different creators from all walks of life in their famous Dragon Call series, as well as manga chapter breakdowns with the amazing Miss Majin.
Hey, shout out to Bex.
Shout out to Bex. They do a fantastic job over there, and I do a fantastic job editing all their audio. So, go support us over there.
Keeps us crispy, clean, no caffeine.
That is facts. You can find us at And Are You Okay Pod,
Star Wars Podcast,
on Instagram and Twitter. And
just change the IG handle, bro. Just change it.
It's too long when you do that shit, dude.
All right. So the podcast is Andy Are You Okay Pod. The name should just be a Star Wars Podcast.
A Star Wars Podcast. I'll put it in all caps.
In all caps with an exclamation.
It has to be all caps with an exclamation.
And you can also find me at Mikey the Illest on Instagram and
a Star Wars podcast.
Christ, Jesus.
What? It's your podcast, Mikey the Illest.
Yeah.
Star Wars podcast.
We're repping your brand.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm just going to try and get through this. And on Twitter at Mike the Illest.
A Star Wars podcast.
Matt, just tell people where you want them to find
never
you.
Gets old.
Literally all those places. everywhere Mike just told you to go there for me.
Okay, well, we're also doing a fun event with Super Game Day. If you live in the Philly area, please come to Super Game Day, where you can enter a video game tournament on their side of things, or enter a cosplay contest with awesome prizes on our side of things.
Proceeds.
Oh,
yep,
yeah.
All proceeds for your entry go to a Fran's Fund. You might even be getting a fun little goodie when you sign up and donate. We will have more details on that when you arrive. So please, please, please come out and support us, whether you live on the East Coast, West Coast, flying out for no reason. Just be there on October 21st, correct, Matt?
October 21st. And it is a free event. And it's kid-friendly, so you literally have zero excuses.
Yeah, have them pull up in a wagon. Dress them as your favorite droid.
You don't need a babysitter. Oh my god, I broke this week. It's free. So
exactly.
Bring that ass. October 21st. Cherry Street Pier. Public event.
Cherry Street Pier.
Bring the babies.
All right. And I just want to thank the technology gods for not having... It's 2 episodes in a row without technical difficulty.
Knock on wood.
Yeah, things are looking up. I proposed to Ray. She says yes. That fucking shiny ass rings on her finger, and we finally make it through episodes without things going haywire. Things are looking up.
I feel like you might have started a scary trend, Mike. You got 2 episodes of no audio issues, and the Phillies done lost 2 games, bro.
Oh fuck.
Mike is always the bad luck for the Phillies.
When your audio's shitty, we win.
All right, so either we have the yips or the Phillies have the yips.
It's that September slide, bro. You just got to talk
sound
more
like
shit.
breaking up noise.
Talk more. Yeah. That was Mike. That was Mike. Universe. That was Mike.
We have officially reached the point in the podcast where people don't care because we already gave them all the info they need.
But they stay because they're like, oh, I don't want to miss an insider. Because this is usually the time when we create the name for the episode.
Yeah.
That's true. You stick around long enough, you get
Star
to
Wars
hear. Thank you.
That should be it.
That's the one.
It's in the title.
We did it.
It's in the title.
That's the one.
Fine.
Now we got to
see you next time.
Bye.
A Star Wars podcast.